There is an organization in our state that has been advocating for Iowans with disabilities for decades, aiming to build a better state for everyone. We're talking about Disability Rights Iowa, and it's celebrating its 40th anniversary and looking back at its past, looking to the future and work that still needs to be done. Here to talk all about DRI is Executive Director Catherine Johnson. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and the interest in our organization. It is really my pleasure to be here. And I wanted to start first by thanking Iowans with disabilities for their trust in us over the past 40 years. We are Iowa's protection and advocacy system, which means we've been around for 40 years, and we provide free legal advocacy for Iowans with disabilities in certain core areas that really look at removing barriers from individuals with disabilities so that they have access to free and full access to all the enjoyments, things that we all enjoy in life. So schooling, education, community services, et cetera, et cetera.
Things that those of us who don't have any sort of disability take for granted every day.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It's just been my experience in doing disability rights work for the past 20 years or so that unless you have a friend or a loved one or are a person with a disability yourself, disability is not something that people think about day in and day out. You really need to have that personal connection to better understand what it means to have a disability. Sometimes people think of a disability as one type of disability instead of the full range that it is considered under the ADA. It would be easier for me to tell you everything that is not a disability than everything that is. That's how broad the definition is.
So a little bit of a history lesson for me and for our viewers. How did Disability Rights Iowa come into existence and why?
Excellent question. So Iowa's protection and advocacy system, which we are, came into existence in August of 1984. It is part of a national system that Congress created back in the 70s to address a really horrific instance of abuse and neglect that occurred out in New York. It was a situation that Congress found very appalling and occurred in a locked facility out in New York, and nobody had the ability to go in and monitor what was going on in that facility. So Congress created the protection and advocacy system out of that and made sure that the governor of each state had the ability to designate an office within that state to serve as what we call the P&A for that state. So that gives us as an agency access to locked facilities, and that is our primary mission. It's why we were created, why all the P&As were created, is to go into locked institutions where individuals with disabilities live and receive services and make sure that people are not being abused and neglected. So we have a very active monitoring system.
Yeah, so how does it work? I'm curious. And because too, you know, this is a thing, I maybe have a little bit more knowledge in this regard just because I have an 8-year-old son who may need to be in some sort of supported community living type situation when I'm gone and his dad is gone and there's no one else to take care of him. So how does it work? How would Disability Rights Iowa get involved and have access to places like that?
We have access to any locked facility in Iowa. We can go in at any time. Sometimes we go in with knowledge of the superintendent that we're coming. Sometimes we don't. Kind of depends on the circumstance. But it is really up to our agency to decide what facilities we go visit. We try to prioritize places that we're concerned about based on different reasons that we might know, or sometimes there's an anonymous tip that comes in and then we're worried and won't go. Sometimes people that are living there and receiving services there will reach out and contact us and be concerned about what's going on. So that's how we get involved.
So can DRI then go into places that don't fall under that umbrella of locked facilities? I mean, could it be something like, you know, a place that provides different therapies or a supportive, you know, community type situation where people come and go, they're not under lockdown, so to speak?
Most of the work that we do is what I would consider to be a locked facility, but we do have access under what's our access authority to any place that individuals with disabilities reside or receive services.
Okay.
So for example, home and community-based settings where people receive services, we have access to those settings. That is something we take very seriously, though, if we're going to go into a setting like that, because it is a more private setting, and we would want to not intimidate or cause someone who's living there to be afraid of us coming in. So there are different considerations that we have when we make those kinds of determinations.
Do you lean on whistleblowers a lot?
I would say no. We have a very active monitoring plan, and so we go throughout the entire state of Iowa, so all 99 counties, and we rotate where we go. So we do that once a year. We sit down together as a team and figure out where do we need to go this year, where have we been in the past, and look at that. But that's just one part of what we do. So that's the monitoring and investigation part. The other part of what we do is provide legal and non-legal advocacy, outreach and training, and policy work. And so all of that together gives us as an agency a real depth of knowledge when it comes to disability rights issues. And so I want to encourage everyone that's watching today to reach out and contact us. We have an 800 number, we have an email number, we have an online form. We want to be there to help Iowans with disabilities in removing all these barriers and making sure that their disability rights are protected.
Absolutely. We've got the website up here, which is very easy for people to remember, disabilityrightsiowa.org. I know myself, you can just Google disability rights and we'll get there, and you have these wonderful little stickers that are given out too. If you hold it up, people can see it. So just to sort of spread the word about the organization and what you do there.
Thank you. Yeah, we're taking this entire year to celebrate our history, to talk about our successes, to talk about what we want to do in the future. And if you follow us, you will see all of the amazing social media events that are happening and our big celebration that'll be coming in July.
Okay, we'll probably have you back to remind people that it's coming.
That would be lovely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Catherine, thanks so much.